Books you won't put down. Grab the House of Lazenberry series by author Daniel Webb. Since his controversial interview at the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast, the books can't stay on the shelf. Grab the series, The House of Lazenberry, The House of Lazenberry 1970H, and The House of Lazenberry, A Time to Heal. Link in the description box now. Promote your brand here at Viral Hip Hop News. Email me, Sam Ant at thehiphopnews.com. No, wait, let's go.
Okay. We talk a lot on this show about the power of imagery, in particular with our culture. And some of the stuff that we see on here nowadays is really detriment to our culture. We talk about from hip hop, the violence in hip hop. Now we're seeing a bunch of our hip hop artists get caught with the RICO over the sexualization of women in hip hop. You talked about Latifah and her manager in days of far removed from the days when Latifah was out here doing her thing in hip hop. And then you talk about the TV series, the Love and Hip Hops, and the things that you see. A lot of it makes us look like buffoons. Let's just call it for what it is. So talk about behind the scenes. Is that something that these major networks are trying to push? They want us to look like fools. They want us to be buffoons because obviously for some weird reason that shit sells. But is that their objective to do, so to speak? Like they don't want to hear the positive. They don't want to hear the real. They don't want to hear something that potentially may uplift somebody in an entertaining fashion. They want that bullshit. That's what they're trying to push.
I think that I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and not just hip hop, but in the entertainment industry. I think that for as many buffoons that might exist, there are people that are willing to play the role. So even when you have people that don't realize they being part of the buffoonery, and then once they realize it, they want to stand up. Right. And then you got people that say, "Oh, you don't want to be part of it? Okay, you move, because we got like 20 people here that's ready to do and clown out the even worse than what you just saw." So I think that part of it is not just what they want to project, is what we as people are kind of subjecting ourselves to, just for the sake of what you see as fast money and do a quick come up. Because, you know, everybody's perception is, oh, I get behind that camera, I get behind that mic, I'm blowing up. They don't realize like how y'all guys are sitting here, y'all grinding this shit out. Like, look, it's show after show. It's good shows, it's bad shows. Yeah. It's the time where you got a mic in front of your motherfucking mouth, and if you put a mic in front of anybody for more than 2-3 hours, they liable to say some shit that wasn't correct, and you know, trying to correct that in this day and time. I mean, at least back then, it wasn't so much cancel culture. Now you say the wrong thing, you got a whole bunch of people twisting your words. You know, so there's as much responsibility as with the people that's lining up for the shit, you know, to get to that, what they said, false sensory of reality. And when it comes to these reality shows and what people are subscribing to and what they looking like I've seen, well, put it this way, what besides Run's House, what family reality show that you've seen them put out that they haven't torn apart? Like, there's scripted shit that you know, and I think Run's House was a little scripted, but it was a little organic. But that was like the only perception of Black people and family that you might have saw, where you seen different aspects of it. Correct me if I'm wrong. And you seen it still in a positive light outside of the Cosby Show. Everything else, I actually know a reality show that's going on right now. I'm not going to give too many details, but you know, it's with like two iconic groups. They happen to be female groups. And I feel like the whole reality show can kind of showcase them in a positive light. But you know what? That's not what people want to see. Okay. And I tell my peoples that I'm cool with within the group, like, look, even before it happened, look, don't let them come in and dissect and change and fuck up your whole situation for some notoriety and a couple of dollars. And whatever that couple of dollars is, it might seem like a lot. Look, they offered us a lot of dollars to come do that shit. And I knew that once you bring them cameras in your house and whatever, certain things supposed to be sacred. Certain things everything ain't supposed to be seen. Even on the internet, we ain't supposed to see all this harsh fucking content. It affects us. It affects our psyche. It affects our spirit. It affects our energy. And when it comes to constantly seeing our beautiful Black women portrayed, you know, older, younger, you know, we obviously are the more colorful people, you know what I'm saying? You know, no pun intended. Like I've heard it in many conversations behind the scenes in boardrooms or whatever, that, hey man, you know, Black people they just want to see y'all just more, you know. So you're gonna see them whenever you look at any of the talk shows, any of the conflict talk shows from Jerry Springer, whatever. You're always gonna see black people. That is the formula. That we are, you know, what makes people watch in a sense, you know, and we do need to take more responsibility for how our images are projected. And when it comes to these reality shows and what people are subscribing to, even though people have gotten famous off of stuff, I'm not knocking it.
Right.
People have fed their families off of it, but it's exhausted now, you know, and whatever you've seen Kim Kardashian and her family get elevated to in their quest, you didn't see the same thing for the Braxtons. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I love, you know, the Braxtons. I was there at their first promotional shoot, and I thought, yo, this is so goddamn dope. It's a real beautiful family, beautiful sisters, and their mother's here, and it was just the way the concept was. It was just done beautifully. And in a matter of like 5 years, 3 to 5 years, you watch them break down. No disrespect to any of them, and even the people that saw it. God bless the sister that passed away. But you know, I was good friends at the time with Vincent Herbert, and he took me behind the scenes to see a lot of things at times, and the type of chicanery and the shit that people pull to make to create these scenarios and storylines, man, it's just bananas. And I watched them break that whole we all watched it. Like now when you look at it, you like, yo, you won't ever see them come together in that light again because of what they got in the middle of and did. You got to ask yourself, did they allow them to do it? Or was it like, you know, once you in the mix, there's certain things and pressures that's put upon you. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I feel like there is a kind of code of how to handle Black programming, and you know, in an unwritten like law behind the scenes. But there's also a whole lot of, I won't call them sellouts, but there's a lot of people that you'd be surprised that they'll take it. They'll take it no matter how much damage it does.
See that.
So obviously you've been around for a long time in the entertainment industry,
I
right?
keep saying